Trump said some interesting things. He wants to pop something out of the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's
he
crazy.
wants to get rid of birthright citizenship.
What?
Yeah.
Is
he
that
wants to, and he claims he can do it by executive order, and I think that's
a fallacy?
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, I've never heard of an actual. So, correct my civics if I'm wrong, but executive order does not trump a constitutional right.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so the question is, well, how does he think that he can do this?
Sure.
And apparently his legal counsel is saying, yeah, it's totally legit. Maybe he's trying. Maybe what the executive order will be laying down is an interpretation of that.
Sure.
Yeah, of course, interpretation of the Constitution. I thought that was
the Supreme Court's.
But then at the same time,
but
the
executive order means
the
action.
The executive branch, yeah,
but executive order
enacts those laws.
Yeah, the executive order is not a sit around and think about it. Executive order is this needs to be acted upon.
Yeah,
right.
So then it will eventually end up in the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
which
because he's the executive branch, he executes.
The question, okay, so obviously we don't know what's going on in his head. Now, of course, the left will tell you, yeah, he's an evil hate monger, and this is just more, evidence of his hatred for those south of the border.
Oh, right. What?
And it's like, oh my gosh.
It's the same tired argument.
Let's actually talk about this.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. So this is all in context. So for all you rubes that have not been paying attention to the cycle of news and so on and so forth, there's a caravan coming. I don't know if you heard about this. Started in where? Honduras?
Two caravans.
There's two now. There's two. Soros funded two of them. Anyways, what did I say? Conspiracy. Anyways, my point is, we gotta get when we get blown up.
Oh yeah.
The X-File soundboard right there.
I want to get that little box with the buttons, and we can just.
Dude, and when it comes up, can we get the all-seeing eye that just pop up for a second?
I mean, you can make those things. Yes, that is possible.
It's plausible, and it's full all the time. Now here's the deal, just like the show. Anyways, my point is this: there's a caravan coming, man. So I don't know how to feel about this either. Okay, there's a large group of people that are claiming asylum. Now, what asylum typically means is, my country sucks, so I'm just going to go to the bordering country for asylum to escape something.
Well, actually, we can be even more specific.
Sure.
It really means personally, my life is in danger
in this country.
And not because it's kind of a rough place to live.
Yeah.
And it can be
MS-13's coming
dangerous,
to kill you,
or I'm poor. But legitimately, I have proof that MS-13 is coming to kill me if I stay where I am and you don't protect me.
It's like Russians during the Soviet Union. They would jump, they would defect, they would go to asylum of the bordering country.
I used to be in the military or whatever. I'm defecting.
Yes,
and they will kill me if I don't.
Yes, Okay, so that's what asylum seekers are. Now, Honduras, geography lesson, is not a bordering country of America. Now, I know that's not taught here in the state of Florida, but everywhere else. Sorry, I'm this in Florida. I got. But here's the deal: Honduras is in Central America. Okay, below Mexico and below a couple other countries, right? So they went from Honduras, and then they went through Guatemala, or was it Guatemala they went through to get up here?
I don't know.
No, I have no terrible geography lesson.
I could draw the continent, but I couldn't tell you what.
Long story short, these people that originated in Honduras didn't go to the next country just to seek asylum for safety. They blew past it and blew past the security that was there and bum rushed the border of Mexico. And they are currently moving through Mexico on their way to the United States. Now, they're not going to Canada.
No.
They're not going to Alaska. They're coming for that California, Texas border. That's where they're coming. They are coming for the border. They're running to America. Now, if you're truly an asylum seeker, you just go to the next country for protection and safety and so on and so forth. But the reality is, they're coming to America. Gee, I wonder why. And to be honest with you, now that President Trump is popping the question about the 14th Amendment, about birthright citizenship, because a lot of these guys come under the false pretense and the notion that's been read into the law for the longest time that if you get to America and pop out a baby, so you get pregnant, you got 9 months to get to America, right? You get to America, you squeeze out a puppy. Sorry for the, sorry, just trying to keep it kosher here. But you pop out a puppy, that kid has asylum seeking. And then remember what the original beef, the original start of Trump, the Trump movement was anchor babies. Remember little anchor babies? Then they make some anchor babies. So that kid's a citizen. So, well, you can't kick me out. My kid's here. He's a citizen. Blah 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 blah. So a lot of discussion is floating around this idea of the 14th Amendment is do you have birthright citizenship, or do you have what does that actually mean in the law? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm. And in the amendment, it talks about the jurisdiction thereof.
Yep, thereof. Oh,
basically, those born or naturalized into the United States and under the jurisdiction thereof shall be citizens of the United States, etc., etc.
Yeah, so you brought up a very interesting point. Because here's the deal. Rubes, we're going to be honest with you, Zeb. When we did the show prep, neither one of us have a strong stance on this at all.
No.
We don't really know what the libertarian stance is on this bad boy.
Well, the hardcore libertarian stance is that there should be no borders, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, because that's anarchy.
Yeah.
If you have no rule of law, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
no sovereignty. We don't share culture.
Yep,
so... that you're just asking for problems in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal: it's not elitism, it's not whatever. But at the end of the day, Central America is not Western culture. It's not. So, the difference is this: like, man, I'm gonna sound so racist and evil and homophobic. Central America is not the same as Western culture.
Food and dancing, and
yeah,
and those aren't the essence of a culture.
No.
It's the shared values and principles that that lay at the heart of what a culture is. And if they're wildly different,
yep,
all you're going to have is conflict.
And spoiler alert, most countries are wildly different than America. They are. They're completely different. Look at Central America. Can you please name a country that's closest to America? Please go. Like I was talking to my buddy Joel about this a couple years ago. Like people from South and Central America, freedom is not born into their soul. He would say that. He's like, freedom is not like born into their soul like Americans. Freedom is like a part of our essence. Mm-hmm. We hate being told what to do. We will flip you off for any reason whatsoever because that's part of our DNA. We have an entrepreneurial, cross the plains, get to the West Coast, conquer type of mindset.
Don't tread on me.
Don't tread on me, man.
It's I don't know, man. It's just saying those words makes me feel good.
Oh, it's America, bro. That's America. I want to get the snake tattoo. But yeah, anyways, my point is this, okay? All these cultures are integrated, okay? They're integrated. They're just mixed into what's going on. But the core essence is the Constitution, which is for the people, by the people. That's what our American culture is. Central and South America are not that way. Hate to break it to you. Ever heard of a guy getting Fidel Castro? That's called dictatorship. Venezuela.
Che Guevara.
Okay, well, Venezuela. Yeah, Che Guevara in Cuba. Dictatorship. Corruption in Brazil. It's pretty much like the reality of the situation is this. The idea of freedom is not embedded in those cultures. So when they come in, they are looking for the government to do what the government needs to do. So what side do you think that favors? Let's get real with ourselves. From the right, we love to exploit cheap labor. We love doing that. No offense. I'm not a hardcore Republican. I will never admit that. But guess what? The reason why we've not built the wall up at this point is we kind of like that stuff. We like the cheap labor that drives the price down. From the left side, they've got a voter base immediately. Okay? At the end of the day, like here, you made a really good point before the show, and you said that if a dignitary from China, okay, comes in, has a child on American soil, okay, that kid is not an American citizen. Yes. That kid is a Chinese citizen.
Because the parents are not under the jurisdiction of
No, they're under the jurisdiction of the United States.
That's China.
So furthermore, how could someone who is seeking asylum from a couple countries away
seeking
asylum show up,
or just illegally entering the country,
or just enter the country illegally, which coming in the border, it's illegal. How do they have the same rights as an American citizen?
Yeah, parents are not under the jurisdiction because they are not citizens.
No,
so
they're from Honduras.
Yeah,
they're Hondurans.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when we exploit the one line, the jurisdiction of, that's
well,
where
we forget. I think the argument is that it's being forgotten.
Yeah.
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 But at the same time, I don't want to end up in a Starship Troopers situation where remember that conversation, the topless conversation in the shower.
Who could forget?
Where it's like, why'd you join the military? Well, I want to have babies, And you can't do that unless you're a citizen, and the fastest way to path to citizenship is to join the military. So here we are, and I'm gonna die next scene. Hooray! Now granted that's a movie. It's
but that's an amazing marketing ploy, though. Topless girl. I just want to have babies. I mean, think about that. what an amazing marketing ploy. But anyways, back to point. But yeah, I could see that too. I could see where it becomes Rome.
Yeah,
it becomes
exactly.
Rome.
Yeah,
it becomes Rome. You got to earn your citizenship. You live in Rome occupied country, but you may or may not be a citizen. I mean, that's what saved Paul a bunch of times, right? Because Paul was a Roman citizen.
Yeah, he got audience with the emperor
because he's
got to deliver the gospel to the emperor of Rome
because he's a Roman.
Because he was a Roman citizen,
a Jew, but a Roman at the same time.
Amazing how God works.
How would Jesus handle this? That's a tough question. How do you handle? Because here's the problem: to give unto Caesar what's Caesar. So obviously, you want to abide by the laws of the land. The law of the land is you can't enter the country illegally at all. One, and then have a kid, and then expect to But how it's being read is, you have a kid in here; they're technically an American citizen, and so on and so forth. So,
I think we have a pretty succinct answer.
Okay.
To what would Jesus do?
What would Jesus do, man?
Can you enter legally into heaven?
Oh, well, wait! Don't go that far. I mean, come on, bro. You can't say that, bro. No,
ain't nobody getting into heaven that doesn't have citizenship.
You can't break in.
You can't break in.
You can't storm the.
There's only one way to break in, and you got to follow the path.
No, what?
The original Christians, they didn't call themselves Christians. They called themselves people of the way.
Yeah, but then you're going to get the Bernie Bro Christians that say, "Hey,
there is
man,
no such thing as hell." And
well, no. Okay,
I think those are the Bernie Bro Christians.
Okay, sorry. There's middle grounders. I won't name them that are Christian guys that love Bernie Sanders, blah, blah, blah. I won't say names on this program, but I know them. Mm-hmm. Okay. Christian people, they love Jesus. But they're like, well, what about all those verses in the Bible that says to talk about, foreign people in your country? Talk about the foreigners and love on them and blah, 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 blah.
Okay. We do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that too.
We are the most charitable nation in the entire world.
Yeah, once people come in, we're pretty, I mean, even now, like, the thing, too, is how many illegal people are here right now? Right now. I mean,
Millions?
Right now.
Millions?
Are they being persecuted and hunted down and shot down? No.
Well, I mean, they're being deported by
God
that satanic organization, ICE.
ICE.